Good morning. Today we are going to learn about computer systems, and before that we have the group members who presented this presentation. So in our first slide we can see the members of the group, as you can see. Then we have the second slide about computer systems, which talks about the system as a collection of different entities that collectively work together to achieve a desired goal. Then a computer system is a collection of three components, namely hardware, software, and liveware. Then components of a computer system, as we have said, there are three. And then we look at the hardware. In the hardware, we can say they are the physical and tangible parts of the computer or the mechanical parts of the computer, where we have the input devices, the central processing unit, the output devices, and storage devices. Then under the input hardware, these are the ones which help the user to key in data into the computer. So we have keying devices like the keyboard, pointing devices like mouse, joystick, scanning and other data capture devices, speech recognition devices, and touchscreen digitizer and digital cameras. And then from there, we look at each one of them in the slides. Keying devices, you can see a keyboard there. You can also see the braille keyboard for the blind. And then we have pointing devices. Pointing devices basically it's the mouse and the touchpad. Then scanning devices, we have the optical mark reader and the flatbed scanner. Then we have other data input technologies like the touch screen. We have the touch screen. We also have the digital cameras, and we have the smart board. So those are what we call the hardware. And then also, we now come and look at the central processing unit. The central processing unit you can see there, and then the central processing unit, you can see that it has three components: the arithmetic and logic unit, the control unit, and the memory. And then that is a representation of the central processing unit. Then we have an audio recording of the central processing unit. Maybe we can listen. So it's okay. Components of the central processing unit there, we can see the arithmetic logic unit, and then from there you can see other components, the memory. Then we look also at the classification of computer memory. There we also have a video on the central processing unit which we have created. We can watch. Good. Now we look at the software, then under the software, and then the liveware. Then the liveware, basically the users, we can see them. And then lastly, we look at the object-oriented programming. That is about the podcast. Maybe we can play our podcast there. So we right click, and then from there we open the link. So under our podcast, we open our link for the podcast. We open the link for the podcast. Our podcast is there. Then you can see this group 6 of group B. So you can see our link. So one of the items there is about introduction to programming. We can play. Okay, so we have listened at it. So that is the end of our presentation. Thank you.